one of the questions I have, and this is intentionally an oversimplification, but you talked about the power of listening to people, right? And, I'm probably in that middle zone where I've got all three, like you, like I've got, folks 10, 20 years older than me, 10, 20 years younger than me that are all working around me. And it's definitely different. But to your point, I feel like if you listen well and you care about folks and you really are trying to like, listen, we talk about head and heart, right? So you like really feel what's happening. It can guide you. However, when you're creating policies, I don't know where the heck you go to like create policies to that speak to multi-generational audiences. What's your advice as you're trying to lead and create like sustainable change in an organization?
So I want to relate this completely to our moment. I think this is what everybody is thinking about when it comes to the return to office conversation. And do we do hybrid? How many days a week? How do we figure that out? I think it's a multi-generational question. And so just to use that as an example, my opinion is we focus way too much on trying to find one solution, right? So like a one size fits all approach. And the reality is in a diverse, multi-generational global workplace, there is rarely a solution. So I'll give you one example, which is employee benefits. I get asked all the time, how do we create or pick the one employee benefit that employees from 21 to 75 are going to want? And my answer is, that's impossible. There isn't one, right? You create choices. So to give you an example, and PricewaterhouseCoopers is the example, I can't take credit for it, but I really admire it. The gold standard benefit is a 401k match, right? We all kind of agree that that is a gold standard benefit. And when they actually listened to their employees and looked at the data, what they found is their Gen Z and younger millennial employees were not taking the match for their 401k. And my assumption is you sit there if you're not listening and say, well, that's because they're lazy, entitled narcissists. That's because these young people don't care about their financial future. You make assumptions, right? But instead, they listened. They asked the young employees, why are you not taking our match? And I'm sure you know the answer, as many of the listeners do. They said, we'd love to put money towards our retirement, but we're still paying off our student loans.
Yep.
And so PwC became one of the first companies that said, you now have a choice. What we care about, the strategy, the goal, to your point, is we care about your personal finances and your financial freedom and your financial comfort. We will give you a choice. We will either match your retirement contribution or we will match your student loan repayment. And by the way, It wasn't just 20-somethings who took it. Who else was it? The parents and grandparents of 20-somethings who wanted to help the next generation. So I think the answer to any conundrum, even return to office, is I don't think there's a single return to office policy that's perfect for everybody. I think you need a couple of choices that people are allowed to decide on that you get from listening to what they want. Not unlimited choices, but more than one choice, if that makes sense.